If you're looking for a Navy Fed business loan, and if you have bad credit or fair credit and you're looking for a large amount, then you are at the right destination. Don't go anywhere. You're going to love today's conversation. I guarantee it. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. How are you today? I hope you are doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous. If you are to ask me, if you are doing as great as I am, go grab a cup of coffee or tea or vodka and let's roll. In today's discussion, I want to talk to you about how to get approved for a large Navy Fed business loan, even if you have bad or fair credit. One thing I want you to understand is that there is a step-by-step you need to follow. The first thing you need to do is to understand the ecosystem of business term loans that Navy Fed offers, okay? Sometimes we get comments from some viewers saying that Navy Fed business loans and credit cards are capped at $25,000. And what we want to say is that those comments are all wrong. Navy Fed approves every single day large business loans ranging from $100,000 to $1 million. We have first-hand knowledge about this, having spoken to several Navy Fed insiders and having ourselves advised many clients who successfully got approved for large amounts. So the only thing is, for large amounts, if you have a fair or poor credit, you need to do at least one of three things. In our experience, you need to have a sizable multi-product relationship with Navy Fed. I'm speaking checking, savings, investments. Okay, and the cool thing here is that investment is really interesting. Their department, this is a Navy Fed unit that most people don't know about. So you also need to have a pledge. You can pledge personal assets or collateralize the loan with business assets. In any case, for large amounts, you will need to contact a Navy Fed business rep and do the application at a branch or otherwise as instructed. I just wanted to let this comment just slip in there so that we can clarify things. Now, I want you to look on the screen right now. So this is the Navy Fed. When you talk about business term loans, this is what you have. Okay, so you have loans that will keep your business moving. So I'm speaking loans for equipment, business vehicles, heavy duty trucks, and also in some cases working capital loans. So you have with Navy Fed, you have business term loans. Of course, there is a $150 origination fee. There is a lien search and recording fees that may apply, and this varies by state. You also have business vehicle loans. All right. Here, they are actually there are no fees, no prepayment penalties. The loan to value new up to 100%, used up to 90%. You have commercial vehicle loans. This is also an interesting. So you can see that overall, Navy Fed wants you to collateralize the loan. Okay, you have to actually back it up with some kind of equipment. However, if you contact them and you have the right multi-product relationship, there are cases where Navy Fed approves unsecured business loans for very large amounts, but you got to have the right multi-product relationship. So when we speak about Navy Fed business loans, we also talk about business lines of credit. This is very important, and this is where you get loans for the expected and also the unexpected. Okay, so when it comes to, let's say, managing cash flow gaps, unexpected expenses, emergencies, working capital, or just new growth, a business or checking line of credit from Navy Fed can help you better navigate, in our view at least, the needs of a small business owner. So you have things like unexpected expenses, working capital needs, right? So it's just better to get a business line of credit with Navy Fed because they have the one of the ideal solutions in the market. Okay, business line of credits are flexible, allowing you to use funds, if you really think about it, as needed rather than receiving a lump sum, meaning interest is only paid on credit used. Okay, so for Navy Fed, the business line of credit starts as low as $35,000. In our experience, it goes all the way to 1 million. Okay, and you also have the checking line of credit. This is for if you want to bridge some temporary cash flow. This is kind of good. So this protects you from overdraft and per item overdraft fees. So you have assigned limits of $500, $1,000 or $5,000. The APR on that is 17.99%, 0.90% rather. It's a fixed, and the fees $50 annual fee. Okay, so those are the two. Business line of credit. You have a business line of credit, and you have the checking line of credit. Just to quickly go back to the business line of credit, one thing we have seen is that you can use this line of credit for potentially anything. So, and this is great for established businesses. If you want to bridge cash flow gaps, business growth, unexpected expenses, other operational purposes, okay? And Navy Fed doesn't ask a lot to approve this line of credit. Again, you got to have the multi-product relationship that I have spoken with you about. So business checkings, business savings, and investments also. And they just want to see business tax returns from you. They want to see the business plan. This may be required. Personal tax returns and financial statements. So here they're looking for a balance sheet, profit and loss, accounts receivable, accounts payable agent report, the debt schedule. All this allows the last three elements: accounts receivable agent reports, accounts payable agent reports, debt schedule, allow Navy Fed to calculate your DTI, your debt to income ratio, and see what kind of risk spectrum they have to put you in. Okay, so this is what it is. If you want to get approved for a large amount, a large Navy Fed business loan with fair or poor credit, you need to establish what I was speaking about earlier, the MPR, the multi-product relationship. This is so critical. And, the funny thing is, a lot of folks, not a lot, but I mean, a minority of folks they just write comments on our wall like, yeah, this is like having a relationship is not helping. And I'm just saying this to you right now, folks. We have research to back this up. This is so important. This is why I keep repeating it over and over and over. You got to have a relationship with Navy Fed or any bank. And it's not just I'm not saying you need to have a checking account for 20 years. I'm saying you need to have a checking account and a savings account, an investment account, and a CD over many, many years. This is how you establish a multi-product relationship. And this goodwill will actually percolate, if you will, into the lending space. They will lend you more because you have more business with them. So when we speak about Navy Fed accounts, we are speaking about business checking accounts. So they have, for example, they have business checking, they have business plus checking, they have business premium checking. They also have the GoBiz debit card that comes with it. That's for the checking accounts. For the savings account, the business savings account, they have the money market savings account. They have the jumbo money market savings accounts, and they also have their certificates of deposits. Okay, and this is a constellation of products that you want to get from Navy Fed. I'm not saying you should open all your accounts with them. All I'm just saying is that if your goal is to get a large business loan approved by Navy Fed, and you have poor or fair credit, you better give them some of your ka-ching. You better park with them some of your moolah, some of your cash. That way they can counterbalance your negative credit score with the kind of assets you have. Remember, at the end of the day, it's all about assets. Okay, your business might be established or a startup, but it's all about liquidity. Okay, so think about that. So this is the cornerstone of a great relationship and a great strategy if you're trying to get a loan from a business loan, that is, from Navy Fed. Okay, so they have checking accounts, they have savings accounts, and they have certificates of deposit, they have money market accounts. So think about what works for you and go get it. Let me speak to you about the requirements. So if you want to get a Navy Fed business loan, a large amount, and you have bad or fair credit, there are a couple of things you need to meet, a couple of requirements. First of all, you got to be a business member. And actually, we have covered this topic on another show. So I want you to, if you haven't already, I want you to go watch that show. We called it the Navy Fed Business Membership Application Line by Line Instructions. This is a great video that you'll be interested in. So this tells you how to really apply. You need to apply as a business member. So with Navy Fed, if you are already an individual member, you also got to apply to become a business member. Very important. And the cool thing here is that you also need to become, if you're not already an individual member, you want to become an individual member also. So we also released another video that you might love. It's called the Navy Fed. You can see on the screen right now. It's called the Navy Fed membership application for applicants 18 and over. So this is a great resource also that I strongly encourage you to watch. So to be eligible for a business, you need to, all the individuals with 25% ownership or more must be NFCU members, okay? And all owners' account must be in good standing. And to become a member, the documents you need to provide include your federal tax ID number or your EIN. The federal tax ID number is great if you are a sole proprietorship. You can also use your social. If you're a partnership, corporation, or single or multi-member LLC, you got to have your EIN, your articles of an organization or incorporation, your operating agreement, your certificate of good standing, your corporate bylaws. I'm just listing this in not a specific order, but yeah. And one thing that's very important for Navy Fed is something called the beneficial owner form. This is kind of important, okay? So really want to think about that. And you might need to contact Navy Fed, especially for a large amount. Again, I keep repeating that people say that the amount granted or kept at $25,000. I'm here to tell you that we have first-hand experience that Navy Fed can lend you all the way to $1 million. You just got to be prepared, okay? And the one thing for sure, though, Navy Fed business loan applications is relatively complicated. It takes time when it comes to the documents you're looking for. But listen, once you understand how it works, you should be fine. Speak to someone, speak to a branch, speak to somebody at a branch, okay? Have ready your 2 years of personal tax returns, 2 years of business tax returns, business plan with 3 years of cash flow projections, your personal financial statements. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. I'm still talking to you about how to get a large business loan from Navy Fed, even if you have a poor or fair credit. Now I want to speak to you about credit score requirement. Now, when it comes to credit scores, and again, I'm speaking about the personal level and at the business level, Navy Fed they haven't published a set of requirements, but based on our analysis and the first-hand experience, they can go all the way to 530 in terms of FICO, and this only happens when you have an excellent multi-product relationship with Navy Fed. So you want to check your credit score before applying to Navy Fed. Even if this is a business loan, you want to check your credit score. You have multiple ways of doing this. You can go to a website called annualcreditreport.com. It's free. Once a year, you can get a copy of your credit report from Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. You can also check your business credit score if you have one. And there are several ways to do this. You can get a business credit report from a credit bureau. For example, you can get it from Dun & Bradstreet for about $62. You can get it from Experian. You might pay around $40. That's what they wrote on their website. And you can get it from Equifax also. Equifax charges about $100 for access to a single business credit report, okay? So this is something that you need to think about. And what I want to say is that this is for the paid searches. You can also get it for free. You can get a free business credit report. You can get it from a service called Credit Signal, for example. And Credit Signal is offered by Dun & Bradstreet. So this is kind of cool also. You also have NAV. Okay, so NAV is a credit monitoring service that gives both consumers and business owners access to their personal and business credit history. You can also get it from Data Axle. Okay, so Data Axle isn't technically a place to get ongoing free business credit report, but their service will eventually cost you money. But once you sign up without a credit card, you get a 7-day free trial of their reporting services, during which time you can pull your report and then you'll have 30 days to view it. You also have a creditsafe.com, another great service. You also have Scorely. So Scorely is another place to get a free business credit report demo and then a paid subscription service if you really are ready to commit. So the bottom line here is that there are a lot of paid business credit report services, as well as free ones. Now, let me speak to you about the application, folks. We are still having a conversation about Navy Fed business loan, large business loan, how to get approved for a large amount, right? If you have fair or poor credit. About the application, I'm not going to go in details here because we have covered this topic extensively in another video called Navy Fed Small Business Loan Application Line by Line Instructions. I fully encourage you to go watch that video. We are breaking down every step and really holding your hands through all the steps that you need to follow to apply. So this is important. But in this show, I just want to say that for a Navy Fed large business loan, you want to go to a branch. Theoretically, you can apply via email, fax, or mailing if you received an offer from them, a pre-qualification offer for them. You can also apply over the phone, but the best, you can also apply online. No problem about that, right? But the best strategy here is to contact a loan officer at a branch and have a conversation. That way you can gauge your odds of approval way before you actually apply. Now, what are the pros and cons of an NFCU business loan? The pros: no prepayment penalties. You have secured and unsecured loans. The maximum APR is 18%, and they also offer SBA PPP loans. What about the cons? They do not offer pre-approval on all loans, so you got to really double check that. And sometimes, in our view, Navy Fed is not really transparent about rates and fees for all their loans. And in some cases, depending on where you live, the states where you're located, they don't offer unsecured loans over $25,000. This is why a lot of people think, oh, the limit is capped at 25 grand, but it's not. It's just because if you don't have a multi-product relationship with Navy Fed, they're not going to allow you to get an unsecured loan over 25 grand. That's just what it is. And another disadvantage in our view is that they want to have individual and business membership. Okay. And there are some industries that Navy Fed does not work with. So you have adults, marijuana, gambling, and betting, among others. Before I close today's conversation, folks, let me give you a few pro tips. If you want to get a Navy Fed business loan for a large amount with a fair or poor credit, please think about your strategy. Think about this as a marathon. It doesn't happen overnight, but certainly it can happen if you have the right strategy. You want to keep your documents in order. Navy Fed they have a military background and they love order. They love chronology. They love some sense of a proper arrangement of things, especially documents. When I'm speaking about documents, I'm speaking about things like your financial statements, your tax returns at the business level, but also at the personal level, your personal financial statements. So here I'm speaking about your balance sheet and income statement. At the business level, they're asking for the four. So they're asking for your balance sheet, your income statements, your statement of cash flows, and your statement of owner's equity, in addition to a repertoire of ancillary reports. What are those? Accounts receivable aging report, accounts payable aging report, your DTI, your debt to income ratio. Navy Fed also pays attention to your cash flows. Are you able to generate enough cash flow to support the loan, to pay back the loan? That's something that's very important for Navy Fed. Even if you have bad or fair credit, but you can demonstrate to them that you have the capacity to, that's why they're at the capacity to generate the cash flow. They'll give you the money you need. That's for sure. This is why they want to have in the business plan, they want to have a schedule of 3-year cash flow projections. They want to see how good you can be, how good the business can be after 36 months. You also want to, and speaking of which, please pay attention to your business plan. A lot of folks go on the internet, they get templates, and they just sort of patch it up with their own data, and this is not going to work with Navy Fed. If you cannot invest $100 to have a professional, or $200 or $300 for that matter, the amount doesn't matter because it's an investment. If you can't put that cash in just to get a proper business plan, then you do not deserve, and I'm just saying it here, I'm just going to be blunt here, you do not deserve to get a large business loan from Navy Fed. Because when we're speaking large, we're speaking 50, 100, 250, $500,000. That's what we're speaking about, $250,000. So it's an investment. Have a proper business plan, please. Thank you so much for your attention, folks. I really appreciate it. I was talking to you today about a large Navy Fed business loan for poor or fair credit, how to get approved. So I gave you an overview of the business term loans with Navy Fed, their business lines of credit, what to do, their accounts, checking, savings, and investment accounts, the requirements when it comes to this Navy Fed business loan, the credit score requirements, the application process, and some pro tips. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. I will see you next time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.